All right, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have our quorum, we'll call the meeting to order. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
One question on the offer for high school language arts. Was that accepted?
That needs to be scratched.
We'll take that off. Okay. All right.
I'll move to approve the agenda with the change of taking language arts off.
I'll second.
Dina got you first. A motion by Chris, seconded by Dina to approve the agenda with the removal of high school language arts contract. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is a consent agenda with our minutes, invoices, financial report. There is a demolition pay application in there as well as the SU insurance renewal. It was my month to meet with Karen on invoices. This will come back up in business later, but that's the last one we have scheduled. So we're gonna have to reset our schedule. This month it's one of 2 months per year when we pay out the open enrollment. So January and June. January is for first semester, June's for second semester. That was a lot of the cash out this month. Looking at our attorney's fees, they're always specific. This month it would be like Pomeroy, the early retirement plan, and the purchase of the properties. The other ones that Karen and I were looking at, like the custodial supplies and those activities, that's increased during the summer because of the additional cleaning and those activities that we have going on and voted on a few months ago. I was looking at the Department of Education inspection on our 26 buses. They actually do it for $50 a piece. They review and certify those. That was a pretty good deal for them. The background check expenditure for Iowa School Finance Information Service. Haven't seen that bill in a while, and it's something we have to do every 5 years, and it's due at this time, and so we put all 160 employees through it. Karen had learned of another company and switched for better detail and value, and this was part of her SBO collaboration with some other districts. Got us a reduction and improvement on what we get there.
Tony, can you pause for a second?
Mhm.
The light turn's not working, so.
Yeah.
Don't mind.
What page are you on for background checks?
Background checks were on the bottom of page 4.
Okay, got it.
Oh, he says it's working now, so.
We're good.
Back in business. All right. On page 5, I had asked about the Cooter Inc. career planning system, and that's the elementary guidance. This is new this year. It's a requirement from the Department of Ed. Let's see here. The welders and tanks, the $16,000, also on page 5. That is part of the CTSO, and our Perkins Fund will get reimbursed for those funds. If you flip over to page 8, Symmetry Energy Solutions, we were just looking at the natural gas part. Of course, we've just gone to the management fee contract. So this is ending our current contract. We still have a couple months to pay off of that, but the risk pool will be reimbursing us for that now that we've joined the pool. We'll see those funds coming back as well. The bottom of that one is your specialty underwriters. This is the SU insurance renewal.
What was that? Oh.
It's
that's
supplemental
our own
insurance.
page.
Yes.
It has its own page in here, doesn't it?
Yep, and some of our biggest users are like Phil and Sam, and Phil, thank you, Phil, for using this extremely well. This is the, where we're buying the extended service plans, and our server goes down or something like that. There's a lot of coverage and protection against it. In addition to that, and appreciate the fiscal support on that, but we're setting up some training for Jeff, Greg, and Mike, so that they can also use the supplemental insurance more and get more value out of that.
Gotcha.
Anything else on that one, Karen? And then if you flip back to page 14, the Tom's Plumbing one, that's the purchase of the building across the street. So that's what that 80,927 is. Those are the only things I wanted to point out for everybody. Any other questions on invoices?
So I was just wondering, Karen, that high school gym floor repair, have we gotten insurance proceeds yet?
Yes.
We did? Okay. That was one I was wondering. And then on that last page, the M&S payment, what does M&S stand for? That 237,000?
Well, that was the last payment for the middle school
Okay.
edition.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
That was the last payment.
Okay, that's all I was wondering. I knew that one would be off the top of your head. Okay, good. Those are my only questions.
Yeah, last page.
And another question, what was the concrete repair on the bottom of page 14?
The Thrasher one, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
They came in and they raised, central office was, kitty office, the big patio out front it was sinking on one side. So they came in and raised that one up, and then they had some others, I think over maybe by that high school, elementary, I'm not sure where Jeff had to go, but there were 3 different spots that they came in and fixed.
Okay.
So everybody, any other questions on the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve.
A second.
A motion by Chris, seconded by Jeff to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Karen, did we have anyone sign up for public comment tonight? Okay. All right, we'll move right into the business section. First item up is discuss the board schedule to meet with the SBO to review and discuss invoice items on a monthly basis. We just want to set the path for the next year. We can do it any way we like. We can just do it in the sequence we're sitting here at the table if you guys want and give that to Karen.
Looking at invoices. Is that
Do
what
we
you're
ask
saying?
for public hearing?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Then you can start from that end, because then it won't get to me before I'm gone.
Good call.
It'll be December and I won't be
Yeah,
here.
that sounds good. We meet like in August.
You will have August.
Okay.
Sarah will have September.
I need to train somebody for November. I'll be in the middle of boards at the time.
You won't have to do it in November. You're gonna have September.
I want November.
Oh, you want November?
Okay, September doesn't work for me.
Oh, that's October. I have November, so I'll take that. So
Perfect.
3, me, then Dustin, then you have November. Chris, the Phantom, will have December, and then Dina and Jeff, and then we'll start over.
Thank you.
And we're just gonna roll that.
Yeah, we'll just roll with that 7 through the rest of the year, and then post-election, we'll make any changes we have to.
Can you say that to me again one more time?
Yes. Sheree, Tony, Dustin, Sarah, Chris, Dina, Jeff.
Thank you.
I don't know if we technically need to, but would someone make a motion to approve that sequence?
I move the approval of that sequence of people to inspect invoices, or to look over invoices.
I'll second.
All right, so a motion by Sheree, seconded by Sarah to approve our SBO rotation to meet with Karen and review invoices monthly. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Just worry about that another year.
The next one, and it really, it's more of just a discuss than a discuss approve, but board election process and what's coming up. Robert, did you have a statement on that?
We just asked Karen to provide
Oh,
information.
Karen was, I'm sorry, I knew it was one of you was doing it.
Karen has the notes, for everybody.
So the number of signatures for the election process is 32. That's what you need for your paperwork. Suggestion is to get at least 50. if not more, because I have to review each one of the addresses to ensure that they're for the correct district or the correct part. The first date for a candidate to file paperwork is August 25th. It can be filed only with the board secretary at central office. You can pick up nomination paperwork either at central office or at the auditor's office, along with your candidate of advocacy. I can't say that word very well. But you can pick those up anywhere, but they need to be turned into central office starting August 25th. Last date to file is September 18th with a 5 p.m. deadline. We will be open till 5 o'clock that day. If someone decides they wish to withdraw their paperwork no later than September 23rd with a 5 p.m. deadline, and it must be in writing, and it must be filed with the board secretary. If someone objects to the nomination paperwork and the eligibility of the candidate, they can do that by written objections, and it also needs to be filed with the board secretary. The election is November 4th. We have 3 candidates or 3 positions open. One for D South, which would be the Pomeroy area, north a little bit, I think just south of Palmer. D2 is basically the central part of the district, and then we have 1 at large. The map will be posted online as far as the breakdown itself, and I have a bigger map if somebody actually needs to look to see where they live and where they can vote or who they can vote for. So, and we can always look it up too to see where you fall as far as that goes. So,
First step, anybody who wanted to run would be to stop by central office or the auditor's office to get the nomination paper.
Yep. And like I said, 32 is what is needed, but I would say 50, if not more.
And the
So,
reason for that is like if you're applying for District 1, a person from District 2 or 3 can't be one of your nominating signatures. That's what the validations are about.
yep.
Any questions about the process? Thank you, Karen. Okay, next is going into closed session to review the district crisis plan. I believe this will be a roll call vote. I need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll move to go into closed session.
I'll say that.
You want,
Oh, I'm sorry, you said 3.
yeah,
Yes.
Okay, hold on here. Sarah?
Aye.
Dustin?
Yes.
Barney?
yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Rick?
I'm assuming we'll walk across.
Yeah,
the
just
hallway.
going across.
Please leave your cell phones, pens, papers, everything here. Do not, nothing to come in.
That's all.
Scary.
You're right.
I didn't know what it is.
It looks good.
And I get into a routine because we start.
Finishing the nails on it. One of the days last week, they were walking around dribbling the ball on the half post, and I'm like, yeah, I was this last week.
There, they were putting the planks on, you know, where the bleachers pull out, there's part that has planks, they were putting those on. But I thought they were pretty much done, and then I suppose the sanding, finishing, painting, and all that. I know they're working on it this weekend, because Andrea sent me a text that said, I know they're having all this stuff in the building, but just know that there's any workers who do it. I mean, it doesn't affect me, but it sounds like it's down.
Last year. I went to program
But you can get in your room, we can have our programs, yeah, I like these directions.
a classroom.
You weren't here, and it was unlocked, so I missed it.
So then and that gets them
Yeah, today was the first day that I went in and I was like, but I was completely blacked out when they do the comments. Right, you get the August, but that's why I'm usually Andrea will unlock that one by next week.
and then I talked to them and said,
Or I can call a dean and he'll unlock. I came impressed. I'm going to Friday, I'm coming back on Saturday morning for this.
so no, so as,
Well, then I went down rabbit hole.
yeah, so,
I just,
no, so this year, she would take it with less than 15 kids.
So I can finish the
Yep.
closet, like going through and throw the things away,
The
like
way I
they
read
push
it
everything out of my head.
was,
And
on
then
Christmas,
they
we
do
had
stuff in
everything
the
separate.
cupboards, like we put some things in the cupboards, like in the
And
closet
for
area.
Christmas, we did.
Yeah. I had stuff for like my desk doesn't come out
Because the seventh
they
week,
can't move it.
they.
There was stuff moved off of that. There was stuff in the other computer lab that said accident on it.
But it's just coming in.
Oh,
So
no, I think
last year I
there's
had
something like that, so stuff like
12,
that.
7 kids.
Yeah, it's not great, I would like to.
In the last 6 years. And they all did extremely well. So now we'll see how, so that group of 14, 8, 9, 11, 8 graders or 7 graders, are taking on together. So that next year, if you, like Millie's group will take out. So it'll still just be.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, she'll see, I mean.
I'll see that on that TV.
She'll, sometimes you're still building it all. It takes a little while to build it all. So like they're doing section, they'll get built in. But like, so they'll have a study hall every day, and they'll have PT study hall every other day. So, and so what I tell them is, yeah, see right now, they're just. So what I tell them is, because you're in the accelerated class, you're gonna have to. So, in a study hall that you say, I'm doing that every day, will help. But that's not really study hall. So, yeah, so she can have.
I tried.
It goes.
And then I got a text.
So if you're.
Like I laid down for like 10 minutes and then I got a
If
text
you're not.
and then I was wide awake
Whole
and I'm like,
study hall,
nope,
but we
not
really
doing it.
like
Did you say?
a 10-minute silent read and then a 10-minute.
well, we left
You know, a little bit of-
10 o'clock and then I went to the bar until 1:30. So I
And I would give her.
1:30
I would give her.
used to be, and you can't do that as
Is it tried?
with all 25-year-olds.
It's summer, so, you know.
And I'm just sitting there and I'm just watching them all and I'm like, you guys suck. It's like that one night I came up there and Bill was playing cards.
Oh, yeah.
with his
So-
dad. The next day, I was like,
Yeah, so this one is gonna be an actual study. Yeah, so it means on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So she doesn't understand. So good period study is not really. So.
No, I.
Friday, we can.
Opened at 10:30
And
today.
5C, we can.
Okay, yeah.
We do, it says 30. Yeah, so it looks like this. Let me see what it is. Basically like. That's fine. And then it's like 11, just let's say 3 to 12. 10 is 5. B, which is everyone's lunch. And then 12:10 to 12:40. That's 5C. Yeah, so these two are actually reducing reading and some activities. It's not really a study. It's just listed that way. Simplicity. So when, that one's actually, I like that one, so, no, when, so. So anyway, so when they go to this insurance and they do extra studies. So they'll do like, she doesn't really do that, combining things that. And then, she kind of rotates it, she'll take her group and have 3 sections. And so she'll look. So tag is from the summers and right. Middle school, high school tag is. Right, no, so what he'll do is he'll start over there. Elementary, and then he'll, right, so sometimes in 9th period where they have exploratory, when they have time, they sometimes work a couple days a week. No, that's where I think he's hoping he wants to do that more, so. I think the hardest part here is trying to schedule. But I don't know.
It's the same as the time, we're English teacher.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
You get to switch.
So every Wednesday, she looks.
I loved it.
If you want it, I do, but I just. Well, it's good.
She is, that was better, yeah, I've never had that. Nope, she left, she was something. Yeah. So they.
Here's what you know, because.
I'm just gonna put this over.
It's just not.
I know, I'm just going to say, they just.
I don't wanna do the classroom.
What?
Yeah, today, he's like.
No, I
Mhm.
don't.
There's stuff that you can have it still, like how stuff is trying to do. They. I think it was longer than I needed to get around to.
No, it hasn't gone anywhere.
He picked this one up. I don't know if it was necessary, but make sure your power washed all the sidewalks around our house and drive
It
it.
had, I
Like,
watched my house.
and he's like, I don't know if this has ever been power washed. And he's like, I mean, he looks independent, very nice. Was it something that needed 3 days? I don't know, but it's probably very satisfying.
Yeah, when we get ours, our kids will like write their name on one, that's.
That's ours, like, oh, yeah, it gets washed, yeah.
The glasses on. The glasses on.
Yeah, they're just like. I know. applications, and boys will be about 2.5.
She's nice. Very well. She's fun and she talked about it.
I know, one day next week.
And that's really good stuff. She did anything that I was telling her. So she's like, I felt like. No, so. It's like 2 years, so like, there was a murder and one quarter.
But.
Paper association.
I mean, search,
So when I did it was, yeah. So when I did English, I only did 8th grade. And so 7th grade, I think usually like just maybe let's say colleges for, I think just, yeah, and I kind of get a feel of what each of their right. And like, I know 8th grade careers, we did some high school. These are classes you don't see in high school. What do you want to do? Right, so, because that's what when I did the 8th grade careers, that's what I did. Some of that stuff.
And I tried to be more come for this week. I'm like,
Well, at least with the living last.
I just want to hear about it. I'm so tired of it first and second period.
And then that's the only one that I'll.
And then it has to be like, I know someone right now, I put in all the placeholders for the materials and base, and I'll work it out back to a town. Here's your idea, justify on this tax. Here's your tax. Laws. It makes it value to some of that stuff.
But as soon as that's
So we could meet and, I do have these because I was.
I think there's one thing where it doesn't like another is like Hannah and Thomas. I'm sure high school, middle school, but that I use is, okay, here's what so she might have a study hall or like, she has social studies. 4 is not the city. That's where, now I don't usually have it. So 5 C is the city or both director and sometimes 6th hour, 7th hour, and 8th hour. So that's like 4 classes. 4 to 5. One thing I'm good, I realize the pages in this class which are like, how do I stuff? How would
wow. I love it. Yeah.
There's someone that's
You're acting right.
This is how he changed his career. Like, I feel like a pursuit. But he's the guy that watched this and how he's from what? Sure. Not his, to where he is actually successful. I give them big, I give them piano, that just is like piano, and they're on their house, so their language, they have to choose to change it. And that was high school, and so like, yes, no, I'm not, and I'm trying to change. I get things that hasn't. So the first whenever they're trying to I have to so I have to share. I'm going to see someone who can read what happened this time. I'm going to take it. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe down the hallway. Look.
Shane's trying to explain it to me, but
Something to really take up and come. Gee, I
just think like.
well, I thought I was like, no, it's great birds or grid, PRID, yeah, grid, I don't know.
Yes. I feel like my.
I'll move to come out of closed session.
I'll second.
A motion by Chris, seconded by Dina to come out of closed session. This will be a roll call vote again.
Carrie,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Justin,
Yes.
Tony,
Yes?
Chris,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. We're out of closed session. All right. Return, the next item on our agenda is the Rialto Theater renewal, 2080 agreement. On
Approve
page,
the changes we made to that plan. We need to approve the
you're right, I probably should.
name changes.
Yes. Okay, so coming out of closed session, and what we did there was review the district crisis plan. There were a few updates for name changes. Do we have a motion to approve the updated plan?
I'll move to approve the updated plan with the name changes.
A second.
I have a motion by Dustin, seconded by Sheree, to approve the updated district crisis plan. Before I call for a vote, any other questions or discussion on that topic? Okay, call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Chris, I'm gonna miss you.
Someone's got to keep you on the rails.
You do. All right.
I think that's why I was placed to be seated right beside you.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. All right. So, Rialto Theater, 28E renewal agreement, what
Looks
page
like
is that
this.
on? The lease agreement one, okay. Good.
Is there any change in the cost from last year? No. And I was wondering, do we have, is this location included on our insurance? I was thinking we should, I didn't see anything on here that mentioned, it does say that we will indemnify, but I just wondering, I think maybe we should just check to make sure that that location is included on our insurance for liability.
Great question.
It also says we're responsible for any equipment we break, so that's the liability.
Karen, does our liability insurance generally follow our students? If we went somewhere off-site, we'd still be under our.
As a rule, though, if you have a lease.
Lease agreement, you know, I know, and I do agree with following up on the insurance question. I just clarifying for my own purposes, I guess. Okay, any questions or discussion on the Rialto Theater? Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve the Rialto Theater 28 renewal.
I'll second.
A motion by Sarah, seconded by Jeff to approve the Rialto Theater 28E renewal. Before I call for a vote, does anyone wish to speak against it or have any questions? Okay, call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next is the Iowa Central concurrent enrollment and placement testing.
Can you speak to that a little bit? What is that?
It's I can answer some of that is, it's an agreement with the community college to provide opportunities for students if they want to take a dual credit class. So if I wanted to take marine biology and we don't offer that, could we send them to the community college to other online options? Those are some things that it's just typical. You work with the community college in your district. In addition, they'll provide the AccuPlacer to any of our students who may be going into a community college. I think they charge you a slight fee. It's not like the ACT or anything like that. I think it's $10 or $15 for any student who may want to take that test to prepare to see if they're eligible to go into a community college. And that's good at any Iowa community college. It doesn't have to just be
Within
Iowa
your,
Central. So if they wanted to go to Des Moines Area Community College, if they wanted to go to Scott County on the east side of the state, I mean, that AccuPlacer would work for them.
And this is a current program that we have where our kids get their college credits through that partnership with Iowa Central. Is that right, Karen?
Angie, what? This is basically the college classes that kids take, right?
Right, so
Yeah.
some are taught in-house by
Yeah.
instructors here, and then others are online if we don't offer it, so.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Angie.
and they get their credit paid for. There's some flow-through dollars that come from the state. Flow through the
Yep.
budget.
and it counts for their GPA for high school as well.
It does.
Thank you, Angie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so I have a question. I was trying to remember, when I read through this, I was trying to remember from last year, there was something that we agreed to, that we changed the contract, and I can't remember for sure if it was with Iowa Central. Chris, maybe you remember, but there was something that where we said, they sent out the contract and we knew not to pay the full price. I can't remember if it was Iowa Central, and it was based on another variable. So I just
Angie, go ahead.
College and career readiness coordinator.
There you
And
go.
they asked us for 20% of the contract, at least, so that we would pay the maximum of the money that was coming in.
Yes, okay, so that has nothing to do with this.
Two separate.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Okay,
And when it comes back, if it's after the election and he's not here.
Yeah.
You
I'll
remind us of
jump
that?
in and.
okay, thank you, very nice.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Chris, seconded by Sheree to approve the Iowa Central concurrent enrollment and placement testing. Anyone wish to speak against or have any questions before I call for a vote? All right, call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is the curriculum director sharing agreement with the AEA.
So we it's a shared position, how much does it pay? How many students?
Good question.
I think we only have her 1 day a week. That's one of the things that's different for districts and AEAs now is instead of dollars earmarked that come into the district that go straight to the AEA, we can choose from basically an à la carte menu.
Yep.
And one of the things that was selected was a curriculum director, a part-time curriculum director.
Okay.
Do we get some full-time equivalent student credit for that?
0.22.
0.22,
That's what I was
okay, that's what, and that paragraph was a little odd to understand, meaning that we pay $41,724.40 for the salary. We get 0.22 full-time equivalent student as a result of that.
714.
Just making sure that 0.22 was the full-time equivalent students we get paid for, not 22% of the full-time equivalent at $41,000. Sheree pointed out that'd be $190,000 annual salary we'd be paying that person, which seems pretty astronomical for a curriculum director.
Okay, so then clarify to me, because I didn't follow your.
So I'm asking Karen just to clarify for me, is that 0.22 full-time equivalent, that's what we get paid back, not that we're getting this person 1 day a week and we're paying them 0.22 of their full-time equivalent salary.
No, that's what we're going.
That's what we're gonna get credit from the state for. Okay.
So we're paying them 41,724 for 1 day a week.
I'm not sure. This can be tabled until August if you feel it's necessary.
I've got to look at the agreement. It was done.
And that's okay, we can,
Yeah.
it's definitely not a gotcha, I was just trying to understand it all. Because when I calculated that, that's 190,000 a year,
I want that job.
it's a good job.
That's, the 22%, the way they write it in the next paragraph, it does sound like they're treating that as paying 22% of the full-time rate of that person.
Yeah, when I read it, that's how it reads.
And I actually thought from speaking with Mr. Kramer that we got more credit than 0.22 after full-time equivalents there.
Like I said, probably your best bet would be to table it till August and
Mhm.
for us to be able to answer
Get more
these questions,
details.
because we can't answer them on the fly, so we won't be able to make a motion that way.
Yeah.
Unless, Robert, you have a different.
No, I have a meeting with Dan Mark from the AEA tomorrow morning. I'll ask him then.
Yeah, we'll table
Thank
that.
you, guys, thank you, because I read it, I was like,
Do we need a motion to table for the vote?
Yes.
I'll move to table the curriculum director sharing agreement with the AEA until the August meeting.
Motion by Sarah, seconded by Jeff to table the curriculum director sharing agreement with the AEA until the next meeting. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Quick note, while we're on the topic, may not have mattered in this case, but whenever we do have questions in advance, if we can get them to Robert so that he can pull in whatever support and get us answers in advance.
that's your point. Point taken.
Okay, registration fees is next.
Looks like no change except for adult lunch is gonna go up by 12 cents. Not that I have these memorized, but I think everything else is the same.
Everything, yeah, this only thing that changed was the adult lunch price.
I move we accept the registration fees.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Sheree, seconded by Dina to approve the updated registration fees. Before we vote, anybody have any questions or wish to speak against? One quick question. I didn't hear about this till the end of the year, but conference pass. See, we can get our family activity passes and senior passes here. Could we also do conference passes through registration? Where does one get a conference sports pass?
What is that? I don't even know if that.
Yes, ma'am.
They are distributed by the conference to each school and meant to be used for staff members. They don't sell
Oh,
them to the
they don't
public.
sell them. No wonder we couldn't get them as a public individual. Okay.
Each school gets a quantity.
I heard about them, but not that you could buy them or not buy them.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense. Okay.
Sorry,
Not for you.
raising my hand.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate it.
No, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
All right.
I didn't even know what that was.
yeah, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, so, motion by Sheree, seconded by Dina. Call for the vote. All in favor of approving the 25-26 registration fees, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have the milk bid.
Did Jeannie have a preference?
I think there's only one.
Yeah.
Those are the ones
Just the
that
one bid.
Anderson, Erickson.
We
Oh,
got
it's
the
bread?
AE.
Is that the-
The others are red.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
AE is that who her preference has been?
I think so.
I think it
that's
has
what we've been
been.
using.
I think it's maybe
I mean,
what
we couldn't vote to
Kemp's
buy
did.
That's what
half.
they got now.
Yeah.
What's the
Right,
Hempstead?
few of
Need more than one.
Right. Karen, was our milk contract previously with AE or
It
with?
says we're unable to
Yeah.
provide one,
Yeah.
please keep us in your,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, no problem, I got you, girl.
I know she's not here, but that is, we talked about with her, with Jeannie last year, that one was her preference and that is who we contract.
Okay, good, good, good.
I'll move to approve the Anderson Erickson bid.
I'll second.
A motion by Chris, seconded by Dustin to approve the Anderson Erickson milk bid. Before I call for a vote, anyone wish to speak against it or have any questions? Okay, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And next is the bread bid.
You did all the same thing, but I think that's where we've been getting our stuff through. is this-
Is that
Only
done?
one, yeah.
I used to get one out of Okoboji, but that company hasn't been bidding lately.
I'll motion to approve Bimbo bread bid.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Dina, seconded by Chris to approve the Bimbo bread bid. Before I call for the vote, anyone have any questions or wish to speak against it?
Was that the only bread one?
Yep.
It is.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, we'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the Bimbo bread bid, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, next we have the fuel bid.
It looks like there's one that's significantly cheaper. I don't know what it,
Three
the Fort
different
Dodge Doolittle oil. $1 cheaper, $2 cheaper. Does Jeff have a preference?
He stated that he would like to go with the company that had done it this year or in previous years because of the service. Something about one of the companies wouldn't service a machine or a tank if they're not providing the fuel. And so when you buy a tank from a company, you need to make sure that we're getting the fuel from them, I guess, so, that was, what Mr. Holder was telling me.
Which company did we use last year?
I got a text from Jeff that he watched.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Wanted to call.
Okay. Sure.
We used to split it up, I know, like the Doolittle always got the oil part of it, but then I think it's, I'm trying to remember if it was Pro that got the propane. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we did antifreeze differently last year.
Yeah.
Alright, you're on speaker.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks, Jeff.
So do you have a recommendation for us between the fuel bidders?
Yeah, let me go to my emails here quick. Okay, as far as the propane and the oils, I'd like to stay with New Century FS.
Propane and oils, okay?
Okay.
The diesel fuel, the gas, and the DEF would go to Pro Co-op.
Diesel, gas, and DEF.
Okay.
What about antifreeze? Do you have a preference for antifreeze?
For antifreeze, we'll stay with FS Energy, or New Century FS.
New Century, yeah. Leave it the same as the oils.
I mean, do we use a lot of antifreeze, Jeff? Just curious. Dustin here.
No, we don't like we used to. It seemed like some of the older buses used to, unless we have, I mean, I guess we had one that blew a radiator hose on the road this year. But normally if we use 30 gallon a year would probably be the most.
Okay.
Jeff, given that you're already a supplier, how would you feel about getting the antifreeze from Pro Co-op? They were half the price on antifreeze of New Century.
Yeah, I gotta check with them on that. FS Energy put in bulk tanks for us at no cost.
Okay?
So we kinda need to stay with them on that.
Okay, we don't
And
have
is that, and not all of them are the
Yep.
same, like, is that $10.32 per gallon? Or is it a different bulk? I don't know, because it doesn't say, it's not clearly,
It should be a per gallon price.
okay.
My estimate is we probably won't use any antifreeze this year besides what we got in our bulk tanks now. So, you know, it's not a item that we're gonna use a lot of.
Even with the price difference, if the amount you're using, it's $50 a year difference, and those guys provided tanks for no cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Any other, recommendations for us, Jeff?
No, I think that's everything I've got for you.
Thank you for
Thanks, Jeff.
watching and being available.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Yep.
So if you wanted road use propane, DEF, antifreeze, and diesel through New Century.
And
And,
oils.
huh?
And all the oil.
Propane, oils, and antifreeze through New Century.
Yep.
Diesel, gas, and DEF through Pro Co-op.
I'll move to approve that way.
She's clarifying her notes over here.
Did you get that exact?
Yeah, propanes and oils through New Century FS, and diesel, gas, and DEF.
There you go.
Yep.
It's exactly what I said.
That is.
That's what Jeff's recommendation was. Did you have a question? You did. Yeah.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Chris, seconded by Dustin, to approve New Century FS for propane and oils and antifreeze, and to approve Pro Co-op for the diesel, and DEF.
Gas and
Diesel,
DEF.
gas, and DEF. Okay, before I call for a vote, anyone wish to speak against or have any questions? All right, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we're gonna look at the gym floor additional design.
Oh, man, when I saw those agility dogs,
I
that
know,
it
and the
made me
ladders.
like cringe from high school when we had to do them. I hate those things. They're good, but I'm clearly not very athletic. I was talking about these this weekend, those dots.
I'm kind of curious because I know they added the half 3-point lines to the courts going north and south, but I only see it on the south side of the image, not on the north side.
The floor is short on the north side, so it really creeps way out on the floor. So by putting it on the other side, it would really, come into play on the main court more than it's needed.
Okay,
So as coaches for basketball, we only requested the south side.
makes sense.
That
Thank you.
helps.
Oh, it does help.
Yeah.
I was thinking in terms of tournament play. I'm like, what good's it gonna do you to have a 3-point line on one end of the court? More for practice and,
Because in order to do tournaments where you were using both gyms sideways at the same time, you'd have to pop the bleachers in. And then would you even have enough seating to accommodate people that were there for the tournaments? Would be my
that's
question.
how they play over there. They play two games north-south and all the youth games. There's just no 3-point line. Kids don't like it. It's one of the reasons we don't get as much turnout.
And we just use it to- we don't really-
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Much better.
No, I know this is the input from the coaches and the AD. They put together the plans for what they want here.
Now's the right time to do it.
Perfectly fine.
I'll move to approve the gym floor additional design as in this documentation.
I'll second.
A motion by Sarah, seconded by Dina to approve the updated gym floor design. Anyone wish to speak against or have any questions before I call for a vote?
I don't see anywhere for the scooters to go across this. Just kidding.
I'd still like to see us paint United as one on the floor, but I appreciate that there's other places we can put that, so.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Next is the volleyball net system.
How old is our current volleyball equipment? And that's,
I think this is a result of the floor getting redone.
I think it's a concrete post, just to setting the standards up.
Yeah. Like the permanent stuff doesn't match with the, you can't put new in.
Yeah.
To match
I
it.
move approve the volleyball net system.
I'll second.
Motion by Cherie, seconded by Sarah to approve the volleyball net systems, 2 of them. Anyone have any questions or wish to speak against it before I call for the vote? All right, call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have discuss approve disposal of obsolete equipment.
Which obsolete equipment?
We have a van and a mower. And Mr. Holder said he was just gonna take them to auction because that is typically what we've always done.
Do we have a motion? So moved.
I'll second it.
A motion by Jeff, seconded by Chris to approve the disposal of obsolete equipment, i.e. 1 van and 1 mower through auction. Any questions or anyone wish to speak against the motion? All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next is discuss approve the lunch debt plan.
Where are we compared to last year? I saw on the big frame, it looks like we're less on the big, I don't know what we call it, the overview of kind of expenditures and buckets.
it looks like we're better than we were last year in the nutrition fund rec. But I don't know if that's ending balance or expenditures. I know. Are we better or worse?
There isn't a paper on that one, I don't think, in the packet. Karen, do you know if that number's higher or lower than it was last year?
I have not had a chance to go through the debts this year yet, that's my plan,
Okay.
is to get the letters out to everybody, for this, so I can't really give you an answer yet as far as, we're probably sitting close to about the same as we were last year, would be my guess. We did do a process of sending out pre-reduced applications to, every single household in the district that has a student in the system.
Did we see a change in our, enrollment for free and reduced lunch?
I can't hold people's hands. Has it gone up or down? It's pretty much stayed the same. The problem is the letters go out, the applications go out, they're available at registration, everything else. But unless they fill them out, there's nothing more we can do.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
One of the things, and this was whether we have the exact number or not, we really only have a two-choice system here. So it's either going to be forgive it or taking the small claims court. Those are the only two choices you have.
I disagree.
No, legally, those are the only two choices we have.
I mean, I still disagree.
That's good, but explain, please.
So at the end of the school year, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm gonna jog myself out like this. I have gone into the, what is the app that we use? What is it? Infinite Campus. Multiple times to try and change my preferences. I have gone to the office at least 3 times. I've gone to Karen last year. I'm telling you, when my kid's account balance goes negative, I have no notifications.
I don't either.
I was $400 at the end of the school year. I thought, oh, better check that in the negative. I have since paid my debt,
Yeah,
but
that was like negative 50.
I
and
feel like if you're not thinking about it, it's not showing up on your radar, you're going about your life, like, we need to solve that, because I would pay mine if I knew. My kids come home and they're like, Mom, you have to get a lunch account. That is the only warning, and it's usually a couple $100 in the hole at that point. And when there's 6 of them meeting at school, it goes fast, right? Like,
Yep.
So I feel like we have this gap or this disparity as a parent in the district where there's an opportunity to capture people who are in the same boat as I am.
Yep. So two things, you're kind of splitting this into two discussions right now. So Karen's question and what's on the agenda is forgive 24, 25 or take people to court. You're talking about 25, 26 and how do we fix and address some of this long-term systemic stuff? And that's where Mr. Boley sent us some things in his update. I'd like to have you speak to the Angel account, some of the other things you talked about.
So one of the things that I'm familiar with Infinite Campus, when my own kids were in school, when you go to pay your fees, you could also click on an Angel account and you could donate money into just an account where the school would use it to help students that are that don't have any money or they're overdrawn on their account. And it was totally anonymous. So
Is there a way for people who are not registering kids for school to donate to that account, or community members, people who are retired or don't have?
if they don't have access to Infinite Campus, no, you can't get in. But I would always encourage, if anybody does want to donate, please come to any building or the district office and submit a check, and we'll make sure that it goes just to a blanket account. And the second thing that I'm used to that you may not be in favor of is anytime you have fees, we would not allow students to participate in the commencement exercises. We legally can't hold a student's diploma, but partaking in commencement exercises, if they owe fees, we don't have to let them do that. Now that may be a problem, but I'm telling you, in districts that I've been in, that last couple of days of schools for seniors, you have a lot of people bringing in money. A parent writing a check because they lost their RIP to charge their computer. People coming in for parking tickets, people coming in for unpaid registration fees where they've been in high school and they've never paid to register for classes. And so that can be a little bit costly, but it was one of those things that you would not be able to participate in the ceremony. And I know that's a little bit harsh, but that's the reality that I'm coming from.
So as far as what we're dealing, like what we're voting on now, I think what Sarah was saying is that she doesn't like the two options, the only two options that we're voting on. She feels there needs to be another option.
Especially when what is the total number or fee number that I'm voting on? I don't even know that.
Yeah.
Or is there
You're
a way
asking
that
me
we
to vote an
can
unknown.
set
I don't
out,
think that's fair.
I know setting out letters, like we've already sent out a letter, but what if the parents didn't get that they're negative? What if they literally don't know that they're negative? So could we send out a letter, give them a certain amount of time to pay it and tell them if this not being paid, then we will send you to collections after this date?
That's what I did last year.
Did you get any back?
I did.
Okay,
There were several parents that came in and did payment plans
okay.
to try and get things set up.
Well, then
But
could
I
that be
also
an
had
option?
the majority of them ignored it, and it is what it is.
And can we have like a certain fee, like if it's over 50, then we send them to collections, or if it's underneath that, then we forgive it. That's what we do at our office. It's a certain fee amount, and if it's over that certain fee and we don't get anything, then we send them to small claims court. If it's not, then we forgive it.
And we're slicing up the pie a little finer, but you're on the same two options. It's forgive them or not, and you're making, dollar amounts, et cetera, where we draw the line, all very valid points. But we've already sent letters this year also, didn't you?
We're in the process.
Yeah. Okay,
Yep.
so we're already doing that.
Yep.
I guess the problem for me is that I'm being asked to vote on a number that is intangible. So I would rather table this till August when I have a finite number, when I understand what you're asking me to vote on.
Do you want me to table or wait sending letters out too?
I would send letters out right away because it
Don't wanna
might
try to
change by then.
Yeah,
The numbers might change by then.
How do we?
Whatever the number is at the meeting is what it's gonna be too.
I think it makes a difference. Are we talking about $100,000? I mean, are we talking about $3,000?
Last year was approximately 17,000.
Does this come out of general fund?
No, not lunch.
Nutrition fund.
How does that impact our nutrition fund, and what longstanding consequences does it have to continue to take out of that fund? Are we impairing our lunch program for next year? Are we setting them up to be at a disadvantage? I guess I need more information to further understand the implications of that and what you're asking me to vote for.
Yeah, we can absolutely table the actual dollar amount, voting off writing anything till next month. Some of the things that it comes back to, the more that we can get the parents to fill out the financial aid form, the less this is happening anyway, and the other advantages it has for the district.
Well, and if we
So
pop
whatever we're
over,
doing, I can finish. So whatever we're doing through this, if we could incorporate that into the incentive of whether or not you'd be forgiven. So if you've at least filled out the paperwork and have gone through that process, we're more likely to forgive you. But if you haven't taken that step yourself, the answer is no. That's gonna draw a line and force some people to fill out those forms, I would hope, yeah.
because if enough people fill out that form, this becomes a moot point. The entire district at a certain level becomes free lunch for all. Right? That is
Well, if they meet the income.
right. If everybody fills it out and we meet that, and I think we've been within a couple of percentage for the last couple of years. And so I like that idea because this whole conversation becomes moot if we meet the criteria and everyone fills out that form who's eligible.
And if you.
Can we talk about doing it, that registration?
We did, having a table or something?
Registration's online, so
Oh, it's online?
Yeah, they don't go to the school anymore.
Well, plus you're not gonna get in, probably not getting that line, probably don't wanna get in that line.
Maybe.
But I do like, is it legal to incentivize it? That's the other question.
Have an online.
Or if you had a balance last year. we can't go back.
Do we contact during the year? Do you know what our procedures are? So are we waiting until May to let these families know that they owe, or are we telling them?
Like she said that, like I've never gotten a notification. I had to go on there and see that I was negative, and she had to go on there and see that she was negative.
No, I just mean, let's just say you owe $200 in September. Does somebody in our district here in call and say, hey, just want to let you know that, you're behind, not only you looked and saw it on Infinite Campus, but somebody's contacting you, whether it's nutrition services or whether it's administration.
That is the letters that I will be sending out here for the ones that are in the negative currently. Stating that they're in the negative and whether they want to come in and set up a payment plan, pay it off, do whatever needs to be done.
So we send one letter each
Does it happen
Was
throughout
there,
the
yeah,
year?
is
is
there
what
a
he's saying?
threshold, like during the year?
Yeah.
We determine that $50,
We will
if
do
a
it
family's
again in
$50 or up,
January,
we
but
let them know.
we will do it again in January. But as a parent too, who also goes in the negative, I get 2 letters in the mail. Jeff gets an email, I get 2 emails, and I get a text message when
I
Lucas
don't get
goes.
any
I
of
get
that.
none of it.
I
So
get none of it.
I think a lot of it has to do with the preferences on Infinite Campus, which that would,
Switched all those.
that would be something that maybe we need to look into as far as the preferences go, because, I do see the letters, so does Sam. I would think there's others out there, but yeah, I'll get a negative balance thing on a Friday that says Lucas has like $1.60 left in his thing, so.
And that's another proactive thing. Are we sending out messages that my kids, hey, you've got 32 cents left or something like that, where now all of a sudden I can plan to do that? Are we showing our parents how to
$10 is
do that?
for
Okay. If they're reoccurring, do we walk with our parents with Infinite Campus to say, here's how you can set up a reoccurring drop into your kid's lunch? That's what I had to do, because
And it doesn't allow a recurring payment for me. I went in 3 times in person to see somebody to change my preferences and still had no communication or
What-
contact.
And what if we just mandatory have a cell phone and we send it, we text it? Instead of it being a preference, just let it be a mandatory thing.
I would think that would be something Christie would probably have to set up for Infinite Campus.
Yeah, but it seems like a kind of an easy way for everybody to for sure get it.
Yeah, but he has a cell phone.
Yeah, it seems like.
Because I remember last year, didn't we ask for donations?
Yep.
Do we know how much that brought in? Yeah, I know it's throwing you off the cuff, I know.
I don't know right off the top.
I just didn't know if we met that 17,000.
No, not close to that.
Okay, so,
But I do have
so we're
people-
still paying out of our hot lunch
Right.
a little bit to
And I do have
offset.
people stop at the office and do anonymous or pay donations throughout the year.
Okay,
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So are we gonna make a motion to table this and come back next month with a dollar amount and maybe some proactive change recommendations to try to reduce that in 25, 26? Is that what we're looking for? Need somebody to make that motion.
I moved to table, the lunch debt plan, until the August meeting, when we'll have a number and hopefully, some ideas and plans for it.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Sarah, seconded by Dina, to table the lunch debt plan to August, and that we'd ask for the dollar amount and some proactive change recommendations to be presented in August. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
But I'm still sending letters out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Okay, any other questions before I call for the vote? All right, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next we have the handbooks, and changes were highlighted in the packet sent to us.
I'll move to approve the handbooks, elementary student and parent, and high school student and coaches. With the changes.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Sarah, seconded by Chris, to approve the elementary student and parent handbooks, high school student handbook, and coaches handbook. Before I call for a vote, does anybody have any questions or wish to speak against the motion?
I have a question. So if I remember right, there's funding withheld if we still mention sexual orientation and gender identity. I think that's a new law, and it's in both our handbooks. I think if we mention those 2 things, we can have funding withheld. And I don't know if it's federal or state level funding.
It is something that, maybe if you could review this with our law firm, get a hold of Ehlers. Our language specifically prohibits discriminating against any of those protected categories. And what Cherie's saying is that the federal law may have changed, but we're not even allowed to define that as a prohibited class that you cannot discriminate against, which doesn't seem to make sense, but
Well, I think the idea is that we're not gonna let that be part of education. So we're not gonna
so it's not part of the conversation.
identify it. Yeah, it's not part of the conversation, I think. So those two things jumped out at me
Okay,
in those documents, but other than that, I didn't have anything else jump out.
Now, it wouldn't necessarily cause us to change the motion. We could still vote on the handbooks as they are. If he comes back with different information from the attorney, we'll just make an edit and do it again.
You can change them.
No, it's not good to me.
Okay, any other questions on the motion? All right, I'll call for the vote approving the elementary student and parent, high school student and coaching handbooks. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have a fundraiser for boys basketball, a youth skills camp. There is a form there from Mr. Busta. The purpose of the fundraiser is a basketball youth camp, 4th through 8th grade, to help with the purchase of team shirts and equipment for the season. And this would go to his booster account or his season account, Karen?
It is out of season, it will go to the booster.
Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Dina.
We have a motion by Chris, seconded by Dina, to approve the boys' basketball fundraising request. Before I call for a vote, does anybody have any questions or wish to speak against the motion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we'll discuss approve Edgenuity Science asynchronous instructional model per semester for biology. And this is,
Imagine Learning?
yes.
Looks like it.
Is Imagine Learning part of Edgenuity, or is that just a typo on our
it's,
agenda
I think they
packet?
own Ingenuity.
Okay.
So is this only for the RLC? Or do our regular biology classes utilize this program as well?
This is regular
It's
biology.
regular biology, it's, we can't find a teacher.
It's in lieu of, we weren't able to hire the science teacher we were looking.
Oh, this is for every
This is
student.
this is an actual class. In
Oh,
lieu of
right.
hiring a teacher,
Okay.
we're going through this online course and there's,
Okay, that's great.
do the students get an online teacher in that do they get somebody to get to interact with and ask questions through this program?
They should. I mean, my experience is yes, it just depends on the timing. So, Ingenuity is designed that you can do it at any time. So if I'm at home working on homework, I may not have anybody to do it. Or maybe I have somebody that's available first period, but then they're not available for second period. It just depends on how you set it up, if that makes sense.
It
That's
does.
the model I'm used to. So in talking to Ms. Christians about this, I wasn't really sure how that would work or how many sections. I don't know how many sections of our high school classes we have. Do we have 4 sections of biology that all sophomores take? Do we only have 2 sections? So she just said this is something that I need to go forward with so that we can get something in place. Because your science teacher, you should be able to modify the curriculum so that it meets the standards that we have, that we need for the NGS science standards. So my understanding would be this course would take the place of a classroom teacher.
Who owns this piece to ensure, monitoring in the classroom? Is it still gonna occur in a classroom, period? Who's gonna ensure our new cell phone policy? Who's gonna ensure behaviors? Or is this just a study hall thing? Or will there be a sign blocking the kids'
My own, again, based on my own past experience, you would need to have an adult in there to monitor the room. That would be my suggestion moving forward, is that there's someone, whether it's a certified teacher, an associate, somebody that would be able to maintain the norms of behavior. I'm not sure, I have never seen it on this scale, that we're gonna do it with a whole class to replace a teacher, because we can't find a staff member. So this is uncharted for me. I can tell you that in a study hall, you have an adult doing that if people are doing it for recovery, or they're doing it in summer school to make up some things. You have someone there to assist, because sometimes you can do some things that we're not doing our work. I'm gonna use you as an example. We're sitting by each other. He could be copying down what I'm doing, or Jeff's gonna do something that I'm gonna copy him. And so you're gonna want an adult in the classroom to be able to make sure that we're stabilizing the normal behavior that we expect from our students.
Are we concerned that we're gonna see this affect our science scores in high school and those things, not having a full teacher?
I don't know which would be better, hiring somebody that is not science certified to teach the class, or having some of our science teachers go through and create a class for students that's online. I think, I don't know which would have a more severe impact. Not having the class, or having me teach the class with no science background, would be probably worse than something online that the students are at least familiar with and can do.
Do we know if this curriculum is evidence-based?
I don't know. I know that it's based on the standards. I know that you can modify the courses.
And are we still looking for a biology teacher?
I think the advertising is still on Teach Iowa.
And how do we dissect frogs?
I would tell you very few schools are doing the in-depth labs that we had when we were in school. The cow eyes, the frogs, the hearts, the pigs. If you've done a fetal pig, very few schools can afford to do that anymore.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move to. Yeah, gotta have something right.
Yeah.
Because teacher might sneak up. I'll second.
I have a motion by Chris, seconded by Dustin, to approve the Edgenuity Science Asynchronous Instructional Model for biology. Before I call for a vote, do we have any other questions, or anyone who wishes to speak against the motion? Okay, call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next we have discuss approve staff computer refresh. You have a letter in your packet from Mr. Trimble.
And this is part of our normal cadence, correct? I think
Yes,
that's what the
yes.
packet said. Yeah, that was my understanding.
So didn't we already vote on something like this? Is this
The
another
student
extension?
refresh.
Oh,
This
okay,
is the staff.
okay.
It's a good question.
Mhm.
I'll motion to approve the staff computer refresh.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Dina, seconded by Cherie, to approve the staff computer refresh. Before I call for the vote, does anybody have any questions or wish to speak against it?
How often do the teachers typically get that refresh, remind me? Okay.
Isn't it every 4 years?
Yeah.
Approved 4-year rotation.
Every 4 years?
I've had the one that I've had for, I would say, at least 4 years, if not 5. Because I had it at the elementary before I came.
So you'll be getting a new one.
And he's negotiated with 3 different companies, got us down to the best offer, and the one that he's recommending is the Acer Plus Spin 714. Can we amend your motion to state which one that you're approving? You approved it, but there's actually 3 choices there.
Oh, okay. I motion to approve the Acer Chromebook Spin Plus 714 Core Ultra 7 115U 16 gigabyte computer refresh for the staff. Is that enough?
Can you second that, Lou Baby?
Yes, I second. Sorry. I seconded this one.
So we have a motion from Dina, seconded by Sheree, to approve the recommendation from Mr. Trimble to purchase the Acer Plus Spin 714s from CDWG to update the staff devices. All right, before I call for a vote, does anybody have any questions or wish to speak against the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Next, we go into personnel. We have a couple resignations. Did we get permission to read the resignation letters?
We didn't respond to that.
So normally we would read that just with that person's permission, so I won't be reading the letters tonight, but we have a resignation from Avery Busta, assistant girls track coach, and from Connor Schoening for middle school football.
I'll move to approve with thanks from the district.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Sarah, seconded by Chris, to accept the resignation with appreciation from the district. Anybody have any questions before I call for the vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have new contracts, building leadership team and mentor teacher leadership positions. Madison Stanley for elementary art and Jessica Bunda for middle school volleyball. Who are we recommending for the building leadership team and mentor teacher leadership positions?
I got it, hold on. You got it, Kristen Olson as the TLC coordinator, overall TLC coordinator. The mentors, Chris Hendrickson, Gwen Johnson, Susan Ehlertz, Sarah Freeberg. Elementary, BLT, Building Leadership Team, Amy Meyer, Amber Evans, Tiffany Clausen, Judd Nielsen. Middle school, high school, Building Leadership Team, Megan Benson, Tammy McKimmey, Alyssa Mass, Macy Andreessen. Our instructional coaches who are were approved last year, Keenan Lewis and Terry Samuelson. So.
Thank you, Megan.
I'll move to approve the positions as stated.
Have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Sarah, seconded by Dina, to approve the positions as so graciously read to us by Megan. Appreciate that support. And Madison Stanley for elementary art and Jess Bunda for middle school volleyball. Before I call for a vote, anybody have any questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next we have the superintendent update.
Okay, one of the things, I was asked to work on right away was the licensed employee early retirement. There was some discrepancy between what had been going on in the committee versus what was released as the final draft. I spent some time talking to Director Bozen about, some of the changes that came from the committee. And so I contacted the attorney and I have some recommendations. I would like, from the attorney, I would like to meet with that group. And I have their email addresses. I believe I have the names correct, so I can send something out to make sure that their work is honored and not misrepresented. So spent some time doing that.
Will you be sharing that communication with both the teachers group and the board committee that was part of the early
Yes, all
retirement?
the people that were on that committee and served, I think we need to make sure that we honor that work and it's truly reflected in what we need to be doing.
Just circle back and review the how and why, what changed and the why piece.
The second thing, facilities planning, I was at 2 different new superintendent conferences last week. One from Grunmeyer and Associates and one from School Administrators of Iowa. And both kind of stressed the importance of facilities planning to make sure you stay fiscally responsible. So I did dig through the office as I was preparing. I found an old report that was done in 2007. And so I think it would be time to update. And talking with Ms. Holder, we need to have a plan so we're not being reactionary with our funds. Hey, a boiler's out, let's do this. Hey, something breaks down, what are we doing to constantly replace or repair or refresh some of the things we have so we're not coming up with these big out-of-pocket costs. So that's something that I'm looking into. Ms. Holder has contacted a couple different companies. You know, what would they charge? What services do they provide? What's the long-term 3 to 5 year outlook? Are we looking for a 10-year plan? And again, that's as I get to meet with you one-on-one, we can start to develop kind of a game plan so I can see what direction you would like to go. Last thing really for me is working with different handbooks. So the employee, the RLC, and the associates for the high school, middle school. I need to review those. I found some things that I don't like. I have a lot of isms. I told you that when we met in January. I don't like when we use different fonts. If we use, the headings have to be the same. It drives me crazy. So I need to go through and reformat, just because I don't like it. It drives me crazy. So, I'll be doing those while we give them to you. It does. It's one of those things. It drives me. I gotta get over that, but I need to do that. So that's all that I really have. Just those 3 things were really something that I've been doing in my brief tenure, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. For facilities planning, there is a board facilities committee as well, myself, Dustin, and Jeff. And we have an Excel sheet and some other things so we would like to meet with you, I think, at some point too, to update some of those things, so.
I would welcome that.
All right, so committee work updates. I don't believe any committees have met since the last board meeting. Okay. No new updates on that front. Our next board calendar event is on the 24th. That's a work session with IASB and Mr. Boley. Sarah was great in sharing that detail this morning. So here's what sent to IASB. So we'll have a general conversation about our board protocols and preferences for clear communication standards. Some of our basics are being issue focused, treating all with respect and dignity, know your why, and articulate the thought process behind an action. Public approaches to the board and proper ways to reconnect that person with the right employee in our chain of command, basically from IASB training. Expectations for weekly updates and desired content, expectations for board packets and meeting information, committee work communication versus full board communication, discussion on the differences and why, text message, email, and phone call standards, and other communication best practices from IASB. We'll use the rest of our time for a high-level review of our vision, mission, portrait of a graduate, strategic plan, and our new SWOT so that the whole board can sit down with Mr. Boley and give him that 50,000-foot view, but he can hear it from all of us. Did I miss anything on the intent of that one, sir?
And we didn't set that up, the IASB kind of gives us that framework.
We gave him some communication guidelines, and she had asked, a lot of what she recommended was that you come to that first meeting and do some goal setting. And we already have our strategic plan. We thought it would be better to go through our vision, our mission, especially based on your interview, by the way. There's some really good insights you had, and we want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
So
So we talked about the 2 board meetings maybe, and just moving into that transition role. Communication has been, and transparency has been such a focus of this board in the last 2 years that I thought meeting with our new superintendent in that venue with ISB to set clear communication expectations for him and for us and back and forth, so that we have a good framework to start our relationship on and a good set of expectations. So just to make it successful.
That's good.
Okay, nothing else coming up on our board calendar, so next we would do our board takeaways. I forget which end of the table I started at last time.
And I think
You
Jeff,
started with me
I
last
think we
time,
need
so.
to start with Jeff.
Oh, all right, we'll pick a spot in the middle, Dustin.
Yeah,
We'll start with you and
yeah.
go,
Oh, great.
you said.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk to you and get to know you a lot more, a lot better.
Looking
Fill
forward
you-
to it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you bet.
Nothing horribly profound tonight in this meeting.
No, we didn't even get
Other
to hear
than
like what
meeting
went
our new
well stuff.
superintendent, so.
Usually
That's my
stuff you like
takeaway.
is what went well and we didn't have.
Oh, that's a big highlight to tell them. So for our principals who couldn't be here tonight, we
Yeah.
actually missed what
Yes.
goes well.
I
You guys
know.
shared some fantastic information.
They always have good
I
stuff.
missed that.
that was you're stealing my thing. Mine is, the gym floor is pretty cool. I'm glad that we had the
Yes.
opportunity to update that.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, not that we wanted a flood, but it worked out okay. And then, these board meetings are a lot more interesting when it's student center and when we have those, and not that, it's just, it's nice to see those.
We love them, yeah.
It kind of reminds us why we do it, yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys did a good job planning the floor. Good job on that. I think it looks good and we're happy to have you. You made it through your first board meeting. Almost. We're not quite done yet.
Got some extra deodorant on camera, but not lifting my arms up right now.
It's hot in here.
Yeah.
I would say, everything went well with your first meeting. I always sat next to Joe and I was privileged to sit by you and it all went well, so.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Sound like a broken record, but welcome.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to hit on more for the public who's watching is the board election process that we talked about at the beginning of the meeting. That's coming up next month for anybody who wants to run, and Chris doesn't make any secrets about it. He served a long time and he's not planning on running in November. I'm not going to put the other two positions who are up on the spot, but there's at least one position that the board member's not going to run for, and even the
It's an
ones that are.
at-large.
Yours the at-large, okay.
You
I'll
need
be
a
running
plaque or
again.
certificate or something.
He does.
I'll put
And then there's
myself on
also
the
a
spot.
D1 and D2 position, and hope the board applies for those and invite the public to participate and engage in that as well. So just want to highlight that time frame again, just to hear, so everybody hears it. You can start on August 25th, and then you have to have it completed by September 18th. Is that the first time you could come in and pick up the form, is August 25th?
You can
Pick it up anytime.
The first day I can.
Collect it. Okay, so if somebody wanted to start getting signatures today, they could, or tomorrow, they can come by your office, pick it up, and start working on it. The 25th of August is the first day they can turn it in.
Right,
And the last day they can turn it in, 9/18 at 5 PM.
correct.
All right? We have
I'll
a,
move to adjourn.
I'll second.
we have a motion by Chris, seconded by Sarah to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, meeting adjourned.
You made it.
Now you can.
Now you made it.
No, I wasn't.
So scared.
One of the things that,
Thank you, Karen.
The messages,